Regular meeting of the Coralville City Council to order March 23rd, 2021 via electronic methods of Zoom. Call to order, please. Or roll call, please.
Councilmember Foster.
Present.
Gross.
Here.
Wynn.
Here.
Dodds. Goodrich.
Here.
Okay, all council members except for Dodds are present, as is the mayor, city attorney, city manager, city administrator, and city clerk, and several city staff members. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Foster, seconded by Gross. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, the agenda is approved, all ayes. Item 4, citizen comments. This would be the time on the agenda for anyone that would like to speak to us tonight, either in person or via Zoom. Mr. Clerk, are you aware of anyone that would like to speak to us?
No one in the audience to speak today, and there are no written comments.
Okay. It appears that there's no one to speak to us tonight, so we will move on to item number 5, which is the fiscal year 2022 budget. This is a budget that's been available for some time now, several weeks, on the city's website, and it was summarized in the Connections newsletter and on Coral Vision, and Finance Director Tony Rotland gave a very complete presentation at a previous council meeting. So, Don, I would entertain the resolution.
Resolution approving the fiscal year 2022 budget introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Are there any discussion? Roll call.
Gross.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Okay, the budget's adopted, all ayes with Dodds absent. You know, it's kind of ironic that it was such a quick vote with no discussion, but trust me, a great deal of discussion and hard work by the staff and discussion by the council with the staff took place many times to get to this point tonight. So thank you for everyone that contributed to that. Item 6 is the first of numerous planning and zoning items. It's Eagle Bend at Clear Creek, Part 1. Several items. This is for a 27-acre, 23-lot, single-family residential development north of Kennedy Parkway and across from Ava Circle. Dave Johnson, our Community Development Director, will give us a report, and P&Z report, please. Might you be muted, Dave?
Can you hear me okay now?
I can now, yes.
Great, wonderful. So thank you, Mayor. This is actually 27 acres of the larger 123 acre subdivision, mixed residential subdivision previously approved. This particular phase, Part 1, which is subject to the PUDB site plan, will be 23 lots, and there'll be an average density of 1.17 dwelling units per acre. The development does meet the bulk requirements for lot area, depth, and setbacks. The applicant is, however, requesting some flexibility in allowing a corner side yard setback of 20 feet, whereas the typical is 30 feet, a rear yard setback of 25 feet, which is typical. The typical setback is 30 feet, and a minimum lot frontage and width requirement is 70 feet, whereas the typical requirement is 80 feet. This development will allow for slightly reduced setbacks and frontage requirements, which in turn will allow for more open space to be preserved throughout the development. Therefore, staff feels that these are reasonable accommodations and also meet the intent of what a PUD planned unit development should be. And I would note that the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their March 3rd, 2021 meeting, and by a vote of 7-0, the Commission recommended that City Council approve the PUDB site plan and final plat for Eagle Bend at Clear Creek Part 1. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Hey, thank you, Dave. Appreciate that. Item C is a public hearing on this PUDB site plan and also the final plat for the Eagle Bend at Clear Creek Part 1. I will open the public hearing and ask if there's any written or verbal comments.
There are no written comments. I'm not sure if anyone has their hand raised at the moment or not.
Josh Endler has his hand raised and would like to speak.
Josh Elmer.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council, for your time and consideration. I'll be quick, so I know you've got a loaded meeting tonight. I just wanted to, again, express our gratitude and appreciation for staff and being so willing to work with us and find a common solution for all of us, as well as some collaboration with the DNR to make sure that we had a viable timber stand improvement plan to accompany the disturbance that's shown here on the proposed development. So again, thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Josh. Anyone else like to speak to us? Okay, doesn't appear to be. And this is a good reminder for anyone, for any of these planning and zoning or other items, if you would like to speak to us, electronically raise your hand down in the toolbar, and that will alert the staff that you would like to speak to us. If there's no one else on this item, I'm going to close the public hearing and consider the resolution for the final plat.
Resolution approving the final plat for Eagle Bend at Clear Creek, Part 1, Coralville, Iowa, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Any questions or comments? Roll call.
Quinn,
Aye.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Okay. Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. And item E is for the same project, approving the PUDB site plan.
Resolution approving the PUDB site plan for Eagle Bend at Clear Creek, Part 1, Coralville, Iowa, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross,
Aye.
Quinn,
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Moving on to item 7 is the town center, lot 1, number of items for this, which is will rezone a 1.21 acre parcel to CPUD2, Commercial Planned Unit Development 2 District for a proposed first floor commercial unit and 80 dwelling units above in a mixed use building on the east side of 10th Avenue, 250 feet north of 2nd Street, otherwise known as the Strip or Highway 6. Again, Dave Johnson will give a report and a P&Z report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This project will have 64 dwelling units per acre and a floor area ratio of 1.12. This development would typically require 135 parking stalls. The development provides 119 parking stalls. 75 are enclosed parking on the lower level and the first floor. The remaining 44 stalls are off-street parking. Coralville City staff does support this flexibility in the number of parking stalls for this particular project. This is a walkable urban environment, and staff finds that parking can be adequately provided and managed. The building will have 80 dwelling units and 1 commercial unit on the first floor. The site is 1.21 acres, and you noted the location of this previously. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their March 3rd, 2021 meeting. By a vote of 7-0, the commission recommended to approve the recommended to approve the rezoning from the C2 Arterial Commercial District and C3 General Commercial District to a CPUD2 district, as well as the PUDB site plan and final plat for Town Center 1, Lot 1. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Now I'd like to open the public hearing on this rezoning Is there anyone in the audience or electronic who would like to speak to us on this project?
There are no written comments. I'm not sure if the developer or representatives.
Blaine Thomas has raised his hand and would like to speak.
Okay, go ahead, Blaine.
Well, hello again, everybody.
Hello.
Here we go again, another building over the 808 on 5th Development. I just would like to say once again to all of the staff members and Dave Johnson, welcome aboard. Thank you very much for all you've done for me and my family. I really enjoy working with all the staff members in Coralville. We've certainly changed the aesthetic of the downtown Coralville district, and this is just one more project, and we'll just continue moving forward and growing together. So thank you very much for your support.
Thank you, Blaine. Anyone else like to speak to us? Probably not. So I will close the public hearing and entertain the first reading of the ordinance.
Ordinance number 2021-1004, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 2020-1009 as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as Town Center 1, Lot 1 from C2 Arterial Commercial District and C3 General Commercial District to CPUD 2 Commercial Planned Unit Development 2 District, is introduced for adoption first consideration by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Gwen. Any discussion?
I have a quick question, if that's okay, Mr.
Sure,
Mayor.
absolutely.
So the parking stall, I guess my question is related to the parking stall. If people buy the unit there, will they get a parking space then, one of those 74 or one of those 75 enclosed parking on the lower level, or do they have to pay per month in order to have access to that parking space?
And that's probably something best addressed by you.
So the way that has worked at 808 and what we've discovered with Reach, I'm going to answer two questions at the same time, or that might be questions for people. One is that the term that we use is called overparked. We've discovered that there's quite a bit more concrete for parking spots than is truly necessary in the downtown district. And if any of you are ever curious, it's very interesting just to go through Google Maps over a period of time for the past 5 years and just examine throughout the course of the day what the parking lots look like in the area. Regarding parking, yes, we do provide parking. What we have also discovered, and as our world continues to change, is that people generally own one car. It might be for affordability reasons, or because so the Coralville transit system, I know that this is the first project that we worked on together, but generally, and I know you guys are in a hurry, and I know the mayor is always timing me, we have excellent transit in the Coralville district. We literally moved the bus stops together as a team with the city of Coralville to serve the area. And it's about a 9-minute transit to the University of Iowa, which is one of our predominant clients. So we find that a lot of people don't even have cars. Does that answer your question?
It does, but I still want to know what exactly those stalls are for. What are they reserved for?
It's for the people to park there. Everybody has a space.
Okay, and that those space associated with the unit that being sold.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not an additional charge.
No.
Okay, because I know that and not to compare, but I know that in Iowa City that have been a headache. So I just want to make sure that we don't go in that direction.
In my particular design standpoint, my view, as an amenity, I like to include parking. The other thing is, if I didn't include parking, then people would generally not have anywhere to park because we don't have a lot of surface parking, right?
Correct.
So I just build that in as an overall function as an amenity. Now there are 80 units and 75 units indoors, so it will be first come, first serve. So ultimately, if there are actually 80 cars on the site, which is possible, I suppose, but relatively unlikely, 5 people will have to park their cars outside.
Thank you, Blaine.
You bet. My pleasure.
Any other questions for Blaine or Dave? Okay, roll call, please.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
The ordinance passes its first consideration, all ayes with Dodds absent. I will give the council a heads up that this project and the next two Redhawk ones, the applicant has requested consideration at the next meeting to collapse the second and third readings. So if we have a sufficient number of council members, and if you're so inclined, we will collapse the second and third readings at our next meeting. Okay, moving on to item 8 is Lot 1, Redhawk Subdivision, Part 2. Again, this is a project, first consideration of an ordinance that will rezone 0.6 acre parcel to CPUD2, Commercial Planned Unit Development 2, for a proposed 2,311 square foot drive-through restaurant. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. Real quick, I will show you the landscape plan, which shows you the general location, landscaping concepts, as well as the general location for this project. Of note, this is very similar to our next item on the agenda as well. This is proposed building Lot 1 that's under consideration right now. I will zoom out of this and give you guys an idea of the elevations. So this building will primarily consist of brick, silver metal trim, and brown composite horizontal siding. That'll be installed edge to edge. Outdoor dining and patio space will be provided immediately south of this development. And the requested CPUD2 rezoning can be considered consistent with the Coralville Community Plan designation of corridor commercial and desired development patterns in this location. And the proposed PUDB site plan complies with applicable development standards as well as city code. And the building design, sign, and landscape designs have been reviewed and can also be considered consistent with the design objectives outlined in the West Land Use Area Master Plan. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their March 3rd, 2021 meeting, and by a vote of 7-0, the Commission recommended to approve rezoning the property from CPUD1 to CPUD2 and the PUDB site plan for Lot 1, Redhawk Subdivision, Part 2. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Excuse me. Item C is a public hearing on this proposed rezoning. Are there any written or anyone like to speak to us tonight on this project?
There are no written comments. I can't see if the developer wishes to speak or not. John Marner has his hand raised.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, for your consideration. I'll speak briefly. I think Dave covered most of the topics. This particular building on the northern lot would be for a drive-through. We tried to add additional parking or additional stacking spaces around the perimeter, around the east side and back around the south side of the building to ensure stacking doesn't become a problem as it extends out through the site back towards Redhawk Street. We also worked to enhance the landscaping on the north and the east side of the building, particularly the east side of the building, to help screen the drive-through lanes in the back side of the buildings from Coral Ridge Avenue. There's a significant elevation change from Coral Ridge Avenue down to the drive-through lanes as well. It's about, I believe it's 3 to 4 feet below from a grade standpoint from the sidewalk down to the drive-through lane. So that helps with the screening as well. And I'm available for any questions if anybody has any.
Mayor, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Lori.
Is it okay? Can you give me the discussion about one entrance exit on Redhawk Street? Will there be other, as that development continues, will there be other exits, or? I'm surprised that there's just one. That's what I'm wondering about.
So there's only one entrance for this particular lot. It was required as part of the platting process given the width of the lots, that we have to maintain a separation distance from Wheaton Road, especially with the turn lanes on Wheaton Road back to the entrance into the site. So they have a shared access easement between the two. And then, as you can see, a shared drive aisle. As it develops to the south, each lot has the opportunity to have its own individual access out onto Redhawk Street. The current plan for Lot 3, while nothing has been submitted, is there is an opportunity to connect those drive-through lanes and some of the vehicular traffic into the same access point and potentially connect these accesses as it continues to work south.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. Thanks.
Can I ask a question?
No.
Oh, all right, fine. I'll let that slide.
Of course you can, Megan. Go ahead.
My question was about the biocells. So are there going to be new biocells, or are these going to be the same ones that already exist along Coral Ridge Avenue?
These would be new biocells that are proposed with these particular lots. So I think Dave's highlighted them there. There's one on the southeast corner of the property.
Oh, okay.
Then there's the two other green areas on the southwest portion of the property. And those 3 biocells combined will serve both of these lots. And then again, as it goes to the south, there's an opportunity for additional stormwater quality treatments, however that's determined as those lots developed.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions?
Looks good.
Okay. Well, let's have a roll call on that rezoning ordinance.
Haven't read it yet.
Oh, wow. Please read it.
Ordinance number 2021-1005, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 2020-1009, as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as Lot 1, Redhawk Subdivision, Part 2, from CPUD 1 unit development to district to planned unit development 1 district to CPUD 2 commercial planned unit development 2 district. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, a first consideration, seconded by.
Second
by Huynh. And let the record show that I did close the public hearing. You just didn't hear me of the previous item. So if there's no other questions, a roll call, please.
Gross.
Aye.
Huynh.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its first consideration, all ayes with Dodds absent. The next item, you might as well leave that shot up on the screen because it's for basically the same thing for Lot 2 that we see there, which is the same request. The only difference is that it's a little larger building. It's 4,418 square foot of retail space. Dave?
Thank you. I won't spend too much time on this. I will just, again, note the building materials and general style of the building is the same, and it'll have brick, silver metal trim, and the same brown composite horizontal siding. And again, similar to the previous request, the rezoning as well as the PUDB site plan can be considered consistent with the Coralville comprehensive plan, as well as the West Land Use Area Master Plan, as well as all the required development standards for this project. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at the March 3rd, 2021 meeting, and by a vote of 7-0, the Commission recommended to approve rezoning the property from CPUD 1 to CPUD 2 and the PUDB site plan for Lot 2, Redhawk Subdivision Part 2. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I'll now open the public hearing on this proposed rezoning. Are there any comments?
No written ones. If Mr. Marner's going to speak, looks like he does have his hand raised.
Okay, go ahead, John.
No additional comments. I just want to make sure I was available for any additional questions on that south building if there were any.
Don't believe there are. So I'll close the public hearing and the reading of the ordinance, please.
Ordinance number 2021-1006, and ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, the same being ordinance number 2020-1009 as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as Lot 2, Redhawk Subdivision Part 2 from CPUD 1 Commercial Planned Unit Development 1 District to CPUD 2 Commercial Planned Unit Development 2 District, introduced for adoption first consideration by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Any further questions or discussion? Roll call. Oh,
Sorry, Mayor, would it be appropriate for council to ask what the rent cost for this space is going to be approximate?
That is not some information that is usually shared with us in the process here. So that would not be, and we're not assisting their project in any way. So that would be something we would not have access to.
Thank you.
roll call.
Quinn,
Aye.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its first consideration, all ayes with Dodds absent. Item 10 is Lot 14, Coral Crossing, 8th edition. This is for a 2.93 acre residential development with four fourplexes, 1 2-plex, and 1 3-plex for a total of 21 dwelling units. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. This project will have an average density of 7 dwelling units per acre. The density is well within the parameters of the medium density residential plan designation, which is 6 to 16 dwelling units per acre. The development requires a total of 53 parking spaces. 63 parking spaces are provided in combination with garage spaces as well as driveways. Staff has reviewed the enclosed site plan, the landscape plan, and associated materials, and find the project conforms with the Coralville development standards, as well as the Coralville community plan and the West Land Use Area Master Plan design guidelines. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed the request at the March 3rd, 2021 meeting, and by a vote of 7-0, the Commission recommended approval of the PUDB site plan for Coral Crossing 8th edition, Lot 14. The vicinity map is here to give you an idea in terms of where this project is located, just west of Coral Ridge Avenue off Oakdale Boulevard on the west end. This gives you an idea of how the buildings, the various fourplexes and threeplexes and duplexes will be laid out on the site, as well as how that will be screened and landscaped. And these give you these colored renderings give you a general idea of what the buildings will look like once complete. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dave. I'd like to open the public hearing on this PUDB site plan. Are there any written or oral comments?
There are no written comments. I'm not sure if anyone's going to raise their hand. Oh, John Marner has raised his hand.
Okay. John, you're earning your salary tonight.
Well, let's hope so. Thank you, Council Mayor. I think Dave covered all the topics here. Again, this generally conforms with the previously approved master PUD 1, PUD A plan for this area. Now, the building units and types are similar to the units that are already constructed just to the east of this proposed development along Spring Lake Drive. I also wanted to highlight the stormwater quality. We've worked with city staff to accommodate the stormwater quality to the south of this site by expanding the biocell that's currently there and constructing a new biocell as well. And I'm available for any questions.
Okay. Any more comments during the public hearing? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the PUDB site plan for Lot 14, Coral Crossing, 8th Edition, Coralville, Iowa. Is introduced for adoption by Councilmember Wynn, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gross. Any comments or questions from the council? Okay, roll call, please.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross,
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
The resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Moving on to item 11, which is lot 62, Bridgewater, part 4. This is for a 5.21 acre residential development with, no, is that the one we just, no,
Nope.
this is, it's just very similar is all the description.
Yeah, it's very similar, Mayor.
Yep, caught me on that one. 5.21 acre residential development with 4 fourplexes, 5 2plexes, and 1 3plex for a total of 29 dwelling units. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. This project is very similar in style, different location. The Lot 62 Bridgewater subdivision vicinity map is on your screen for reference. This gives you a general idea of how the subdivision, or this phase of the subdivision, will be laid out. And the building materials for this project are also going to be predominantly stone and various earth tones of LP smart siding. This development has an average density of 5.6 dwelling units per acre, and the density is well within the parameters of the low density residential land use plan designation, which is 6 dwelling units per acre or less. Staff has reviewed the enclosed site plan, or the provided site plan, landscape plan renderings, as well as all associated materials, and finds the project conforms with the Coralville development standards and the Coralville community plan. The Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their March 3rd, 2021 meeting, and by a vote of 7-0, the Commission recommended approval of the PUDB site plan for Lot 62 Bridgewater Part 4. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I'd like to open a public hearing on this resolution for the PUD. Any written or oral comments in the public hearing?
There are no written ones, and John Marner is here to speak again.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Again, Dave, I think covered everything well. This is part of a previously approved PUD 1, PUD A district for the entire Bridgewater subdivision. And this is just for lot 62 to go ahead and get the PUD B approved so they can begin construction on the private drive for Hidden Ridge Drive. As Dave mentioned, the units are similar materials and palette to the previous concept, and he has the elevations on the screen there. And I'm available for any questions if there are any.
Okay, thank you, John. I'm going to assume there is no other comments during public hearing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Therefore, I'll close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the PUDB site plan for Lot 62 Bridgewater Part 4, Coralville, Iowa. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Quinn. Any questions or comments from the council? Roll call, please.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross,
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Moving on to item 12, which is Lot 1, Coralville Industrial Park, number 2, 6th edition. This is for a 1.6 acre development with a proposed 22,152 square foot office and warehouse building at 1960 James Street. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. This is an extension of a lot of the office and warehouse type development that we're seeing along James Street. This particular property will be 1.6 acres, 2 stories, as you noted, 22,000 square feet. The building materials are predominantly, if I can scroll down to give you a general idea, the building materials are predominantly precast panels, metal trim, fascia, and glass. There's 49 parking stalls that are required and provided. Stormwater will be managed on site with biocells. And staff has reviewed the application and finds it conforms with all applicable development and design standards. And the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed this request at their March 3rd, 2021 meeting. By a vote of 7-0, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended to approve the PUDB site plan for Lot 1, Coralville Industrial Park Number 2, 6th edition. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Dave. I'd like to open a public hearing on this proposed PUD project. Any written or oral comments?
There are no written, no one's at City Hall to speak. I do not see a hand raised.
Okay. Therefore, I'll close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the PUDB site plan for Lot 1, Coralville Industrial Park Number 2, 6th edition, Coralville, Iowa. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross,
Aye.
Quinn,
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Item 13 is a little bit different than the previous ones. Fireworks sales ordinance. This will be an ordinance that will limit the sale of consumer fireworks to the I2 light industrial district and I3 general industrial districts. This will not affect the ability for brick and mortar retailers to sell novelty fireworks as it's currently done. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. This request is actually being brought forward in response to past code compliance issues regarding the operation of consumer fireworks sales. As you noted, this will not affect bricks and mortar consumers at all. Consumer fireworks sales, according to their operators, in my interactions with them, have indicated that the outdoor storage of equipment, vehicles, and trailers is a necessity of their operation. You may have noticed in the past years along First Avenue and other locations, tents, RVs, storage containers where they have their merchandise. They also do general distribution to other retailers from these sites. So it quickly became apparent that according to them, these measures are inherent with their particular business. So Coralville City Code prohibits the outdoor storage of equipment and vehicles in all but industrial zoning districts. And this has required significant code enforcement efforts on our part in those commercial districts. And the consumer fireworks sales really are not compatible in the city's I1, which is our research office industrial district, and it really lends itself best to our I2 and I3 zoning districts. We presented the request to the Planning and Zoning Commission at their March 3rd, 2021 meeting, and by a vote of 7-0, the Commission recommended to approve the ordinance to amend Chapter 165 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coralville to limit the sale of consumer fireworks to the I2 Light Industrial District and the I3 General Industrial District. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Good work. I'd like to open the public hearing on this proposed amendment. Are there any written or oral comments?
Received no written comments. No one's in City Hall to speak on the subject, and there are no hands raised online.
Okay. Therefore, I'll close the public hearing and consider the first reading of the ordinance.
Ordinance number 2021-1007, an ordinance amending Chapter 165 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coralville regarding the sale of consumer fireworks, is introduced for adoption, first consideration by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Discussion?
So to clarify, who was?
No, go ahead, Megan.
Okay, sorry.
Sure.
I just want to clarify. So will this eliminate the tents and restrict the sales only in these specific locations?
I can answer that. Under the state law that was passed a couple years ago, we cannot restrict. We don't have the ability to restrict tent sales. We do have the ability to put them in the correct zoning location. So they can have tents, and they would have to be in the I2 and I3 districts. But by state law, we cannot they have to get a fire permit for the tent to make sure the material is fire retardant or whatever the right term for that is. But other than that, we cannot restrict the sale from tents.
Okay, so the tents will continue to exist, but they will not be in, maybe you won't see them in a Hy-Vee parking lot. Is that correct?
Yes, that will be correct. They can still sell you remember the novelty fireworks are the same type of fireworks you could buy before law, which is sparklers and things like that but a Hy-Vee won't be selling the new stuff in their stores, but they can still sell what they normally sold before.
Thank you.
Thanks, Megan, because that was my question too. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's what I was being asked too. I've gotten more questions about Hy-Vee, and I don't think it's it's not a call out of Hy-Vee, but I think just having those tents in those parking lots, people were really, just because of the sheer numbers of people that are there. So just to reiterate what Megan said, though, the only fireworks sold in the Hy-Vee tents will be novelty like snakes and sparklers and things like that.
Right. The consumer fireworks can only be sold in I-2 and I-3 districts under this ordinance change.
Okay.
And I would also add, Councilmember Gross, that should Hy-Vee want to do outdoor sales of their novelty fireworks in a tent environment, that would be considered the outdoor display and sales, which would require a conditional use permit from the Board of Adjustment. So we're looking at those as well.
Thank you, Dave.
Yes.
Can you please give an example of the I-2 and I-3 zoning just for the general public? Because when we talk about these terms, just give me like a concrete example. Let's say Hy-Vee parking lot or the mall parking lot.
Okay. So I-2 district, I'll take one off the 2nd Street. We're Wolfables and New Cara Pharmacy back here. That's off of James Street. Those are I-2 districts. That would be the ones that would be most visible probably on 2nd Street. Some of the stuff way out west core, some of that is I-2, industrial also, but some of it's commercial out there. So that would be the most, my guess is that would be probably the James Street area would probably where these people would set up their shop for the sales later this year.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, I think, kind of to reiterate what other folks are saying, it's not that these tents will not be visible. They just won't be in as high trafficked areas as you would see like in the mall parking lot or in the Hy-Vee parking lot. Because I know I've received a lot of complaints just about the visibility of the tents themselves. And I mean, this fireworks legislation has been extremely controversial, locally, and we have to explain a lot to residents that there's not a whole lot we can do to limit sales, but I feel like this move is a good way to at least put these facilities or these tents in a place that isn't quite as visible to folks.
I agree, Megan. I received many complaints about the one on First Avenue, more or less across the street from the Iowa River Power Company restaurant and that lot there. So this will be well received by the community, I'm quite sure. Okay, if there's no other discussion, roll call, please.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Ordinance passes its first consideration, all ayes. Item 14 is 2500 Holiday Court, which is a rezoning of a property at the corner of Holiday Court and Cross Park Road to residential planned unit development 2 district to allow development of a proposed 4-story multifamily building with site amenities. This is the third and final consideration of this ordinance. Don?
Ordinance number 2021-1002, an ordinance amending the Coralville zoning ordinance, same being ordinance number 2020-1009, as previously amended, rezoning certain property located within the corporate limits of the city of Coralville, Johnson County, Iowa, and generally known as 2500 Holiday Court from C2 Arterial Commercial District to RPUD2 Residential Plan Unit Development 2 District, introduced for final and formal adoption by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Any discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
The ordinance passes its final consideration, all ayes with Dodds absent. Two other items related to the same project. Item B is the resolution approving the preliminary plat.
Resolution approving the preliminary plat for 2500 Holiday Court, Coralville, Iowa, introduced option by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Discussion? Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Okay, the preliminary plat is approved. Item C is for the final plat.
Resolution approving the PUDB site plan for 2500 Holiday Court, Coralville, Iowa, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Moving along to item 15, Coral North Apartments. This is the final plat for a 2.74 acre development at the corner of Holiday Court and Cross Park Road with a proposed 4-story, 58,721 square foot multifamily building. Dave?
Thank you, Mayor. I won't spend too much time on this. This is the final plat for the project that City Council just approved. So with that, I'll just note that city staff has reviewed the final plat and finds that it does conform with the preparation requirements outlined in City Code. I'll also note that the Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed the final plat at their March 3rd, 2021 meeting, and by a vote of 7-0, the Commission recommended to approve the Coral North Apartments Edition final plat. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Don, the resolution for the final plat, please.
Resolution approving the final plat for Coral North Apartments, Coralville, Iowa, introduced Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Quinn. Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution is approved all ayes with Dodds absent. Let's see, get caught up here. Okay, now is item D, which is a public hearing on the vacation of a roadway easement that's part of this project. I'll open the public hearing on the roadway vacation. Any written or oral comments on this easement?
There are no written comments. No one is in City Hall to speak, but Megan Carr does have her hand raised.
Okay, go ahead, Megan.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
All right, perfect. I just wanted to say thank you to staff and to the council for your help in working through this project. I know City Attorney Kevin Olson and I communicated via email on some adjustments to the vacation, but it sounds like those are acceptable. And like I said, I just want to say thank you. We're excited to get this project started.
Very good. Thank you, Megan. I'll close the public hearing and consider the resolution.
Resolution approving the vacation of that certain roadway easement on Lot 1, Coral North Apartments, Coralville, Iowa, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item 16 is the Ridgeview addition. This is the third and final consideration of a rezoning that will change the land use. Well, it'll change the land use map for a property located west of Jones Boulevard from corporate campus to medium density residential. Don?
Ordinance number 2021-1003, an ordinance amending the Coralville Community Plan to reflect certain properties generally known as Ridgeview Addition, Coralville, Iowa, to be designated medium density residential use in place of corporate campus use. It's introduced for adoption, third and final consideration by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Nguyen. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
The ordinance passes its third and final consideration, all ayes with Dodds absent. Item 17 are bonds. This is setting a public hearing for our next council meeting on April 13th for a refinancing of prior bond issues for interest rate savings. The repayment source is the city's debt service property tax levy, 12th Avenue TIF revenues, and the Mall and Highway 6 TIF revenues. Resolution, please.
Resolution to fix a date for a public hearing on general obligation essential corporate purpose refunding loan agreements in a principal amount not to exceed $20 million. Introduced for adoption with Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Nguyen. Discussion? Roll call.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Item 18 is Anthropologie tenant build-out. This is for the tenant improvement work to be completed in a previously unoccupied space at 920 East 2nd Avenue, Suite 145. In other words, in the Iowa River Landing. The bid report, please.
Yes, we received, this bid was handled by Kappa Advisors. They brought this through the bid process. We received two bids. The winning bid was from WCS in the amount of $853,290. And the other bid was from Woodruff Construction. That was for $954,950. WCS has done numerous projects in the Iowa River Landing District for this similar type tenant build out. And so we would recommend approval to WCS for the amount of $853,290.
Thank you, Kevin. The resolution, please, Don.
Resolution accepting bids and awarding the construction contract for the Anthropologie tenant build out. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? I just going to ask, is this bid amount in line with what we were expecting it to be?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Well, that being the case, if there's no other discussion?
Is this for us to build out the whole building the way that Anthropologie wants before they can occupy the space?
Yes, this is part of the lease, is that the tenant improvements are done by the landlord and there's an allowance for that.
And do we do this every time there's a new tenant, Kelly, or is there, once they occupy, is there, a period of time where we have to go back in and remodel things again?
Yes, most of them have a fairly extensive lease, which then they would be responsible for that point forward. And most of the spaces, once they get developed the first time with restrooms, heat, cooling, those kinds of things, even with a subsequent tenant, you wouldn't be providing those kinds of improvements. So typically it's a one-time thing because the properties were developed and left as a white envelope, which just means that without distribution of heating and cooling, bathrooms, those kinds of items, so that it could be built specifically for the tenants that come in.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions? Roll call, please.
Quinn,
Aye.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross.
Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Item C is a resolution approving the contract and bond documents for the project.
Resolution approving the contract and bond documents for the Anthropologie tenant Buildout, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Wynn, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Foster. Discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Gross,
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Item 19 is the Dovetail Recreation Area Agudas Achim Parking Lot Renovation Project. This is a shared cost with Agudas Achim per the previously approved agreement. Bid report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This parking lot renovation, like you said, is at Dovetail Recreation Area and Agudas Achim. This lot was built as a joint venture back when the park was developed and Gold's Gym went into on that site. It is an asphalt lot and it is original.
Did we get struck with lightning?
Looks like we lost lots of people.
Some of them.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
And Mitch is the only one I can see. Mitch and Lori I can see, but the rest of the council members are gone.
Thor's here.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Megan and Hi and Sherry are.
Okay. Yeah.
Lori, our takeover is working.
Oh, cute. Well,
that was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So city hall's okay. Yeah. Some others are not.
The mayor said that there was an electrical interruption, so he just got knocked off too.
Yeah, I heard it out here. Did you? Yeah.
Was it a big boom?
A boom. Mm-hmm.
I'm still at West.
Okay, we're back. I was like, everyone is frozen. I was like, what happened? Is Megan back yet?
Sorry, I don't know where I went. Dropped me.
No, we don't have the mayor or Megan yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay, it wasn't just me.
Okay, I thought, okay, good.
Can I step in as Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah.
He said you need to take over because he can't get on right now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sherry. Continue.
Okay.
Yep.
I left off at, we received 3 bids. Ranging from $55,588.40 to $64,010.10. And would recommend award to LL Pelling for $55,588.40. This is going to be split in half with Agudas Achim, and we already executed that agreement to share that cost actually late last summer. So that would be a total for the city of $27,794.20. And this work would happen between April 15th and June 30th. And the contractor would work with us to make sure that we were honoring any high holy days with Agudas Achim.
Excellent. What, Sherry? Or what, Lori?
I love these kind of partnerships. Thank you, Sherry. Good partnership.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Don, had you read the resolution yet?
No.
Let's please do it.
A resolution accepting bids and awarding the construction contract for the Dovetail Recreation Area Agudas Achim Shared Parking Lot Renovation Project. Introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Moved by Goodrich, seconded by Quinn. Any discussion? Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Is that it? All right.
That is
Motion
it.
passes. 4 ayes, 1 absence. Item C, Don, the resolution.
Resolution approving the contract and bond documents for the Dovetail Recreation Area Agudas Achim Shared Parking Lot Renovation Project, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Moved by Foster, seconded by Goodrich. Discussion. Roll call.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Motion passes, 4 ayes. Item 20, Consolidated Transit Funding Application. Don, the resolution, please.
Resolution setting a public hearing on the City of Coralville fiscal year 2022 Iowa Department of Transportation Consolidated Transit Funding Application, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Moved by Gross, seconded by Flynn. Discussion.
I had a quick question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so this would be for the 27th, April 27th, for the public to know.
The
public hearing.
Oh, yes.
27th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. The bus shelters that are included in this project list it looks like there are 3 that are or 5 actually, some replacements and perhaps some new ones. I was wondering where those would be, and if there are 3 new ones that we're talking about. I know there's 2 replacements. Are there 3 new ones, and then where would those be?
Kelly, do you know that by chance?
I apologize. I'll have to get back to you, Megan.
Oh, that's fine.
My packet open now for some reason, so
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
And these are just we're submitting for those. And the MPO has to approve based on the transit funding.
Correct.
Yep. Thank you.
Don, the roll call.
Win.
Kevin,
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye. Resolution passes, 4 ayes. And the mayor's back. All right.
I'm back. So thanks, Nick, for pitch hitting there. We had some kind of electrical spike up here in the North Country, and the computer completely froze up, and I rebooted it, and then it wouldn't let me sign back in using the same link. So I had to get John Hines to send me a new link. So
we did pass a resolution that I will get your salary for the meeting.
Okay, for 5 minutes of it?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so which item are we on? 21?
We are on number 21, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Good to be back. Item 21 is Deer Creek Road Repair 2021. This is a public hearing for the repairs to Deer Creek Road. And this public hearing will be set for April 13th, our next council meeting. Don?
Resolution setting a public hearing on the plan specification, estimate of cost, and form of contract for the Deer Creek Road Repair 2021, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Wynn, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Goodrich. Discussion?
Scott, can you help us?
Sure. Yeah, this isn't too complicated of a project. We're looking just to essentially redo the surfacing on Deer Creek Road, just south of Highway 6 between the Iowa Interstate Railroad and 340th Street. There's a small map in your memo, and we're just asking you to set the public hearing for April 13th, and then we would take bids on April 20th and hopefully be able to report on those bids and award the contract at the April 27th council meeting. The only complicated part of this project is just the fact that Deer Creek Road is really the only way in and out for several industrial uses off of Deer Creek Road, as well as our parks and recreation facilities. So the proposed work would be done over the course of what we think will be 3 overnight work sessions to get the various pieces of the puzzle put back together.
Thank you, Scott. Any other comments? If not, roll call, please.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Hoyt.
Aye.
Okay, resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Moving on to item 22, property, liability, and auto insurance renewals. This is the renewal of the city's insurance policies. Don, the first resolution, please.
Resolution approving the Iowa Communities Insurance Pool, ICAP, as the city's insurance carrier, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Goodrich, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Gross. I believe we're joined by our Human Relations Director, Mike Funke. Mike, would you like to say a few words to us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is our annual property liability renewal. And unfortunately, for the first time in quite a long time, or at any time, this is our biggest renewal we've ever had. In the past, even last year, we had a decrease in our premiums. Other years, it's been 1%, 2%, 3%. The highest one in the last 6 years is 8.1%. This one, unfortunately, is 18%. And derecho had a lot to do with that. We had some other catastrophic damages across the country that has affected the insurance industry quite a bit. Unfortunately, we also, a couple months ago, received word that we were not going to get a membership discount. Last year, that was $47,000. In years prior, it was $55,000 to $60,000. So not only are we getting the large 18% increase, we're not getting the discount either. So I'm still looking at some things. I'm not quite sure if they added things up quite right, but most likely it is correct, and we'll just have to take it on the chin on this year and hope for better times next year.
Well, thank you for that report, Mike, even despite what it was. Any questions for Mike or Kelly or anyone? Okay, roll call, please.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Item B is a related resolution. Don?
Resolution appointing Michael A. Funke and Kelly J. Hayworth as the individuals to represent the city with the Iowa Communities Assurance Pool, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Foster, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes with Dodds absent. Item C is also an insurance issue item related to our cyber liability coverage for $1 million. Don?
Resolution approving Travelers as the city's cyber liability insurance carrier, introduced for adoption by Councilmember Gross, seconded by.
Second.
Second by Nguyen. Discussion?
I'll just briefly mention the reason this is separated out is because it is through a different carrier. It's through Travelers. And this is to not necessarily pay people for damages that we may have caused if there's a cyber leak or a breach. This is more for all the things you have to do to be in compliance should you have a breach. So that's what it's for.
Thank you, Mike. Roll call, please.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes. Dodds absent. Item 23 is the green roof and cistern project. We will accept the projects as complete and accept the responsibility for maintenance and approve payment to Arena Co., who is acting as a city agent for this project. Don?
Resolution accepting the green roof and cistern part of the arena project as completed is introduced for adoption by Councilmember Nguyen, seconded by.
Second.
Seconded by Goodrich. Discussion? Roll call.
Goodrich.
Aye.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Resolution passes all ayes.
Mr. Mayor, did you intend to do something about compressing some of those earlier ones, or is that going to be in the next agenda?
That will be at our next council meeting, the Redhawk and the Blaine Thomas projects.
Thank you.
Yep. Item 24, I'd consider a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented or amended. Who's going to do it?
Mayor? Yeah. With Jill in mind, I ask that you consider the motion to approve the consent calendar as presented, amended A through M.
Okay, moved by Goodrich, seconded by Foster. Any discussion on those? Roll call, please.
Foster.
Aye.
Gross.
Aye.
Quinn.
Aye.
Goodrich.
Aye.
The consent calendar is approved as presented. Item 25 is a city administrator's report. Kelly?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Several items I just wanted to mention that, first of all, on tonight's agenda, there was a significant number of developments that had gone through planning and zoning, and just point out that it takes a lot of staff time to go through these and make sure, and there's a lot of discussion and work with the developers, and they are been very, very good to work with and be responsive to that. Just a couple of things that, first of all, just like to thank Dave Johnson for leading us through those efforts, because he's kind of the coordinator between all of the department staff that works on these and our developers. So he does a great job. And then all of the different departments that are involved in these to make sure that we have very high quality developments in our community, and that when it gets to both planning and zoning and council, if there's any issues, they'll be brought forward to you, but you can also be rest assured that it wouldn't be reaching you unless it meets all of the requirements of our city code. So just thank all of the individuals that are involved in these. Obviously, we're getting close to spring because there's a lot of developments, and it's that time when people can start construction, and that's a good thing. Would just like to point out, and I plan to go through a couple of these items in the work session, but the Iowa legislature considering several legislative bills that are not favorable to cities and have a very detrimental effect. A couple of those have huge financial potential impacts on us as well. And so I just think it's important for council, mayor, and staff and our community to be aware and keep track of these items as they go through. And if you don't agree, now is the time to make sure that our representatives hear from us at the state level. Just like to congratulate Mitch Gross on his appointment to be permanent principal at West High. I know that's something that you've worked on for a long time, and you've had some practice this year at that, but it's a great honor and a very significant position in our community to be the principal of the high school. So congratulations, Mitch.
Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that.
And last thing, Mayor, I'd just like to point out is tonight will be the last official council meeting that our city engineer, Dan Holderness, will be with us in that position. And it's almost just a couple months shy of 35 years of service that Dan has put forward to our community. And so there's been a lot happen during that time. Unfortunately, some of them not so good. He's taken us through, I believe, at least 4 floods in our community, multiple major construction projects throughout the city. I think if I am correct, and Dan can correct me, I think at least 2 times he's redone the water plant. The wastewater plant is redone twice. He's redone Highway 6 and First Avenue 3 times. So, I mean, these are major projects that most people, if they dealt with them once in a career or once with a community, that would be a major accomplishment. But Dan has done all of those multiple times. So I'd just like to thank Dan again for all of his work. Our community is much, much better because of all of the efforts that he has put in. I can tell you there's a significant amount of grants that Dan has been responsible for, and both soliciting and then managing as we went through. I believe the last time we checked that we're either the 3rd or 4th city in the country that had the most EPA brownfields grants. And so we're in the top 10, I know, at least. And so considering the New Yorks and the Chicagos and all of those San Franciscos of the world, for Coralville to be one of the top 10 in that, I think is to Dan's credit. And one of the things that we were able to do recently is, as part of that program, Dan has led an effort with the University of Iowa Urban Planning Department to have an intern, a master's intern, work in the Brownfields program. And I think it's been at least 20 some, maybe, Dan, something like that.
20.
And we got a chance recently to look at where these people are around the country, and they all have gone on to significant positions in their individual careers. And a lot of that is to Dan's credit because he helped them get started here and gave them an excellent experience. So, Mayor, I'd just like to, give my thanks, and I know the community's thanks to Dan for all of his work. And that's it, Mayor.
Hey, thank you, Kelly. Well, I'll just dovetail right on with the same comments, Dan. You and I were colleagues way back at the city of Iowa City together. So I've known you since before Coralville, and then during the 33 years of the Lundells on the council, and worked with you very closely on a lot of different projects. And I can just tell you that you are extremely respected by your peers. A number of folks that had heard that you were retiring, they were just so incredibly complimentary about your history of working with the city of Coralville and how great you've been to work with and what you've accomplished. So, it's easy to say you've left your mark on the community, but in your case, you really, really have. It's very easy to look around the city of Coralville and see structures and concrete and projects that have your imprint on them. So thank you so much. Glad to see you didn't lose your hair during this time period. You just turned it a little whiter.
A lot whiter, yep.
Yeah. So, stay in touch. We probably have a board or a commission or a committee or something. We'd like to have you join in with us. So thank you very much. Do you want to say anything, Dan, before I move on to anything else?
Sure. Yeah. It's been a long ride. It's been a lot of fun. We've done a lot of things together as a group. We've got a lot of great mayors and council members and staff and consultants and the public of the city in general. We've accomplished a lot, and Coralville's has matured and grown up and developed a lot in the 35 years I've been here. And so it's been a real challenge sometimes, but it's been very rewarding, and we'll miss the job and we'll miss the people most of all.
Well put. But don't go away, because I wouldn't be surprised if maybe when we get the council member reports, they might want to give you a shout out as well. So, but thank you for all your great service. I don't have much more to add under the mayor's report. A couple things from the website is Brown Deer Golf Course is open. So if the weather clears up and you want to get out and brush up on your golf game, you can certainly do that at Brown Deer now. And also the yard waste collection is going to be starting up the end of the March 29th. So you can start cleaning up your yards and putting out the bags for the yard waste collection. And then we're approaching the end of the deadline for people to apply for the Police Community Citizens Community Policing Advisory Board. That deadline is this Friday at 5 p.m. Last I checked with the clerk, we have approximately, give or take, 20 applicants. So we have a nice sized pool of applicants, but there is still a few days left this week that if someone hasn't decided to throw their hat in, they can still do that. So encourage you to go to the website to learn more about that. That's all I have. So the city attorney reports, please.
I would just like to say that it's been a pleasure to work with Dan through these years. He's a great person. We're going to miss him. Kevin?
I'd just like to echo that, Dan, when I started here, Dan had to lead me through some of these projects and show me what I needed to do, but I'm sure we'll see him around. So thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Don. Committee and council members report. Mitch, I'll start with you. And again, also congratulations for losing the interim in front of your title. And again, richly deserved for your new role.
I appreciate that, Mayor. I've got a lot to talk about too tonight, but I'll try to figure out a good order. I think the first thing I'd like to talk about is the library had its first pop-up event to help people fill out forms for rent and utility assistance. That was this past Saturday. There were 5 families that showed up, all French speaking. And I say that because the library did take my suggestion and has incorporated a language line, which has been very successful. They're very appreciative of that. It's a pretty user-friendly mechanism. They're going to have 6 to 8 families that are scheduled for this weekend as well for the same thing, and that's in conjunction with the Free UI mobile medical clinic that's being hosted at the library, so please be aware of that. So I just really appreciate the city's stance on this and helping people out when we need it. I also just feel a little, Kelly brought up the state legislature, and I feel kind of just compelled to talk about just some of the national events that have gone on. And, I think about the shooting in Boulder and just, I think about a college community that's like us and just the senseless amount of death that happened because of the gun laws that we have in this country. But I also, feel compelled to speak about police officer Eric Talley, who, charged into this building, and, his heroism, though it cost him his life, saved countless others. So I just appreciate the bravery that our law enforcement put forth every single day. I also want to extend my sincerest sympathies to my friends in the Asian American and Pacific Islander community who have been victimized and, as we saw this last week, murdered as a result of a lot of the white supremacist violence that's been going on in this country. Unfortunately, the past presidential administration normalized the discrimination, verbal attacks, and violence against the AAPI communities by using xenophobic rhetoric to blame the COVID pandemic on people of Asian descent, primarily Chinese descent. And it's incumbent upon all of us who hold positions of power to call out xenophobia when we see it and to combat racism in all of its ugly forms. And I want to say specifically to my colleague, Councilwoman Quinn, that I can't even begin to fathom what this past week must have been like for you and your family. And I just want you to know that I'm so proud and honored to serve with you on this council. And please know that I stand with you so that we can all stop Asian hate. And lastly, I do want to say to Dan that I just think you have been a quintessential public servant in so many ways. And, when people talk about people that work for the government, you could have made a hell of a lot more money being an engineer in the private sector. And yet you've dedicated your life to public service and to making our community better, our community stronger, safer. And I thank you. And the 2 things, Dan, that I'll remember most about you is, first of all, your laugh. I love your laugh. And for those of you that know me, I try to bring some humor and brevity to the council chambers sometimes, and sometimes Dan's laugh was the only one that responded to my jokes. But I appreciate that, Dan. And second thing, and this is, I hope you're okay with me sharing this, Dan, but one thing people might not know is every school board election, Dan reaches out to me and has always asked me as an educator, who did I think would be best for the school board? And I always deeply appreciated that commitment to public service, not just in the municipal standpoint, but from the educational standpoint too. So I just think you're such a class act in, and I truly wish you well, and you're going to be sorely missed. So thank you, Dan, for everything. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mitch. Lori, what would you like to say tonight?
Oh, there's a lot. I really appreciate all that has been said already, and speaking to Dan, I think about your friendliness. I've always thought how friendly you are, your integrity, and your loyalty, and I just think you're the best city engineer ever. We will miss you and look forward to seeing you in the neighborhood, and hope you really enjoy your well-deserved time off now as you retire. You and Gloria enjoy the grandkids and your family. I also am just so thrilled to think about the last 2 meetings that we've had such a variety of price points and sizes of homes that will be coming into Coralville. And just, again, as Kelly mentioned, appreciate his work, and Dave and Ellen and Kevin in working with developers to get those things going now as we come into spring and a better season for building. Let's see, one more thing. I think that's it. I just wish Jill well. We missed her tonight. And, I am proud to announce that we will be going to Florida to commemorate our son is going to be made in the Air Force a lieutenant colonel.
Oh,
and
great.
we look forward to celebrating that with him in a couple days. So proud of him. Thanks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Megan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A lot of the things that I had on my list have been mentioned. I was going to mention the assistance that is going to be available at the library on Saturday. I also, just wanted to say that, my heart goes out to all of the victims. It's been a terrible week between what happened in Atlanta and what happened in Boulder, and it just seems relentless. I just want to say that I stand with the AAPI community. I grieve alongside the AAPI community. Councilmember Wynn and I both attended a beautiful vigil on Sunday that was a great opportunity for members of our community to share their pain and also to honor the lives that were lost. And I've been thinking a lot about this because I have taken on a position now with the Domestic Violence Intervention Program, and I spent today training for my new job and learning about gender-based violence. And DVIP serves victims of intimate partner violence regardless of gender, but the vast majority of the clients that they serve are women. And it's shocking and it's scary, and we have to put an end to it. We have to put an end to gender-based violence, and we have to put an end to white supremacists. And part of that has to do also with the access to firearms that we have in this country. I'm wearing my Moms Demand Action pin tonight because we are seeing in this state a loosening of restrictions on firearms, and that bill is on its way to the governor's desk. And so if you are concerned about gun-based violence, access to firearms, and the connection that we have in this country with access to firearms, gender-based violence, and white supremacist violence. I urge you to contact the governor before she signs this bill into law. And finally, I just wanted to say to Dan, thank you so much for your service to this community. You know, you are really just a model public servant. And it has been, you know, one of the things that I have really enjoyed in my time as a council member is learning about what you've done for this community. And it is incredible. Your contributions are, I always say, are things that people don't always see, but they have a tremendous amount of impact on this community, the quality of life of this community. The work that you've done with the EPA grants is just outstanding. And you know, I hope we'll have a wonderful retirement, but we are really going to miss you at the city of Coralville. So thank you, Dan, for all of your service. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. And Gwen, again, I echo the feelings that have been expressed about the horrible incidents of the week, and I sympathize for you and your family and your relatives and so forth. It's been a horrible week. So go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me start with saying congratulations to Dan. I never had the pleasure to get to know you or to work with you, except for, you know, since I stepped on the council and we have been doing virtual meetings forever. But regardless of that, I would like to extend my congratulations to you. I know that you have a long tenure with the city of Coralville, and every day, you know, when I go out, I see the work that you have done for our city visibly, just like Megan has said. It had an impact on each and every one of us, and for that, I thank you. And yes, please don't be a stranger. We would like to have you back to be on a commission or a board or anything that, you know, you can offer more of your service to the city now as a citizen on your own time instead of having to come in whenever we need you. Yes, thank you. And hopefully one day I will get to meet you in person. Hopefully that day will be soon. Yes. And congratulations to Mitch. I received the email and that was wonderful news. That was amazing. And Megan, congratulations on I know that you have your heart in there and you know, for you to get that position, you'll be a great asset. And Lori, your son, that is quite an achievement. So congratulations. My brother is in the Army, and I know that to get to the rank where your son is, it's a lot of work, a lot of dedication. That's amazing news. And for the service that he gives to our country. I have been, it's have been difficult the last week. I'm not going to say, and I'm still processing things. And then, of course, more terrible news happened. And just like Megan said, we need to do something about our gun control, regulation here in this country. And here in our state, there is a bill heading to the governor's office. And I am afraid that it might be too late. You know, we don't know. The only thing that we know right now is to hopefully talk to more people, help let people know that there's no need for that. There's no need for that. You know, there's no need to really own a gun. I don't know. I don't have enough word right now. And one other thing that I wanted to say is that what happened in Atlanta had really affect me because it hits really close to home for me. It is the people who I look like, who I identify with. And as Asian American, we are often being called the model minority. And that had although it sounds very positive, but it actually have a negative impact on us because it limits us to a space where we can go beyond that space and be our own person. And it's put us in a position where, we kind of have to mold into a certain mold that the person who we talk to put that upon us. We are often being viewed as submissive. We don't like to call attention to ourselves. We contribute, but yet we feel like we are invisible citizen to this country for a long, long time and continue to be so. It is time that we stand up and we ask out loud that you all become our ally in fighting this hate crime that have been increasing toward the AAPI community. Within the last year, that has increased to 150%. That is a huge increase. And that is stemmed from the hate rhetoric that have been spewing. I invite all of you to have a candid conversation with any AAPI member out there. Learn their story before you pass judgment. And if you feel the desire to give back to help, I encourage you to get involved with Monsoon, donate. We have a local chapter right here in our community. And more than ever, they need your help. They need your ally. And thank you all for being there for me and for giving me a safe space. That's all I have, Mayor.
Great. Thank you, Hi. Thank you, everyone. Kelly indicated he had one more item before we adjourn.
Yeah, Mitch bringing up the rental assistance reminded me Ellen's not here tonight, but Allison is, and I just thought it'd be helpful for her to report on how people again can participate, because this is a very confusing process. And so, Allison, if you could just kind of explain it, and I know you don't know all of the timeframes yet, but I think one message I would give is keep coming back to the library and asking, because they can help you and will make sure that they have everything, know everything that we do about this program. So Allison, do you want to just tell the people, the citizens, how they can participate?
Absolutely. It's even though the application isn't available through the Iowa Finance Authority quite yet, it is beneficial to complete the pre-check. So we've been helping people do that. And as Megan and Mitch both said, we will be helping people again on Saturday, having a drop-in. And even before that, if you need an appointment or you want to come in and talk to somebody about it, you certainly can just call the library or email us and we'll get you taken care of. The Finance Authority says the actual application will be up the 29th. So we anticipate a lot of people will need assistance filling that out when it's available. And so we'll be there to help people. Again, the best way is to just call and make an appointment when you can come, so you don't have to wait in line. We did have some people having to wait, of course, on Saturday, just, because there's only so many of us. So if you can make an appointment, that, it's just saves you time. So yeah, we're happy to help, and we're there for anybody that needs the assistance.
Great. Thank you, Allison. Anything else, Kelly?
Nope, that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn from the formal meeting then. Moved by?
I so move.
Okay, by Wynn. Seconded by?
Second.
Okay. No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Well, let's think about it.